Let's look at some more numbers beyond the thousandths place. If you have a look here, we want to write 1400 or 1400 tens of thousandths as a decimal. Now, there's a lot of the word thousands in there, so we need to think about what this means. Tens of thousandths. If we have a place value table, we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and tens of thousandths after our decimal place to the right. And you can also think of the fraction. If we've got tens of thousandths, then our denominator is 10,000. Our numerator is 1400. And because it's less than our denominator, we know that the fraction is actually less than 1. So we can put a 0 in the units place and our decimal point. Now, we've got 1400, so you might think of starting in the thousandths place. But you need to remember that it's 1400 tens of thousandths. So we need to start on the right-hand side of our number and put that first digit in the tens of thousandths place in there. So that's a 0. Now we work left and we have a 0 in the thousandths place. Keep going left and we have a 4 in the hundredths place and a 1 in the tenths place. So you can see our digits all have somewhere to go, and we've got 1400 or 1400 tens of thousandths. And if we write that as a fraction and a decimal, you can see them there. Now we've got a number even smaller. We've got 34,021 hundreds of thousandths. So what we need to do is remember that that tells us what our denominator is. It's hundreds of thousandths, so our denominator is 100,000. And we've got 34,021 of them. So 34,021 parts out of 100,000. So if we have a place value table, you can see we've got less than 1 because 34,021 is less than 100,000. So we can put a 0 in our units place and our decimal point in. And then what we need to do is start from the right, and we put that in the hundreds of thousandths place because we actually know it's hundreds of thousands. So we put a 1 in there, and then we work left. Our 2 goes in the tens of thousands place. Our 0 goes in the thousandths place. Now that's really important. We can't leave that out because it means the 4 would be in the wrong place. Our 4 is actually in the hundredths place, and our 3 is in the tenths place. So even though our number is 34,021, it's actually hundreds of thousands. So by starting at the right of our number, in our hundreds of thousands place, we get all our digits in the correct place. So if we write that as a decimal, you can see it's 0.34021. So how do we say this number? 0.00459. So it's less than 1 because we've got no units. So if we start to the right of our decimal point, we've got tenths, then we've got hundredths, then we keep moving right, we've got thousandths, tens of thousandths, and finally we've got hundreds of thousandths. So that's going to be what we call it. It's hundreds of thousands, and we have 459 hundreds of thousandths. If we write it as a fraction, we'd have 100,000 as our denominator and 459 as our numerator.